Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is my Christmas version of an art journal page. It seems to be the theme for the week. I seem to have themes every week now. But anyway, so I've got a variety of products I'm using. I'm using a stencil from Stampin' Up. I'm using Tim Holtz Winter Wonder, which is old school steel rule die. I'm also using some Nouveau in Aquamarine, I believe this colour is. And this is the embellishment mousse, and I'm just going to randomly put this everywhere, all over the page. This page I created a few years ago. It's in a Smith's, W.H. Smith's, it's a watercolour pad, but it had a spiral what do you call it, a spine on it, and so I thought it would work really well for an art journal. So if you can't afford an actual art journal, try and see if you can find a watercolour pad like this. And it was working really well, so I was quite chuffed. So I'm just putting this on wherever. And then I realised that I had some black paint probably from Thursday's tutorial, my Halloween one. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. And Tuesdays, they're all art journal pages this week. And so I'm just using my finger and just going around the edges, one to cover up the black paint because that doesn't, for me, didn't work on this page, and two, it's just another layer. That's the big thing about art journaling and mixed media and things like that, is layers, lots and lots of layers. So I'm also going to use, just while I think about it, is Tim Holtz Mini Holidays 3, I believe. And I think I mentioned Winter Wonder, which I actually cut out some extra pieces of that, and I'll show you that in a second. I'm just going to dry this off a little bit. Oh, to get the colour on the background, it was basically a few years ago I spritzed a whole load of the pages with a whole bunch of different colours. This one has some shimmer in it already, but I thought the colours would work nicely for a Christmassy background. So I finally dragged it out and went back to it. So the main image is the snowman, and he's standing there. That's the silhouette on the Winter Wonder. I then cut out another section so that I could get his hat and his nose. So we're going to, and there's also the snowflake, which I cut out twice. I don't know why I did two. Normally I do three. Three is like the magic number and everything. So I don't know why I only have two snowflakes there. That's very weird for me. But anyway, so I've got these mini dauber things. Finger daubers, I don't know what they're called, that sort of thing, you can see. And I'm just, because that piece is so small, I'm just dabbing it on until I've got the colour right. And I used Carved Pumpkin Distress Oxide. I'm using oxides for this today. I've got tumbled glass in the oxide again, and that's going to be just around the edge of my snowman and the snowflakes, because you want that sort of, just something so that you know that it's kind of like it's snow, but it's obviously not. Snow's not blue, but it's just that it gives you a hint of that colour around the edge to make him stand out a little bit from the page. And then just cleaning off my mat here again, and I will then go in with some gathered twigs. Need my eyes tested. Gathered twigs for his stick arms. I didn't think about that when I was cutting out the extra pieces, but this actually worked quite well. I just kind of went in, and not sure what that little bit on the bottom is. I'm assuming it's a stick, so that's what it is now. Oh, actually it is. It's the way his hand comes down, isn't it? So anyway, one of those silly moments. So I just thought I'd get his stick arms on, and then I'm going back in with the tumbled glass, just because I got a bit overexcited and put a bit too much brown. So I needed the oxide. That's the nice thing about oxides, is because they sit on top of the paper, you'll be able to go over another color, and that's why the blending, I think, works so well, because they're actually a cross between like a dye and a pigment, or that's what I've heard. So it worked really, really well to sort of fix my boo-boo. And then I'm going to grab some black soot for his hat. I just thought, you got to have a black hat. It's the top hat. It's got to be. And when you're doing something like this, and you can do this with any of your dies, if you've got lots of silhouette style dies, do this. It's so much fun. Just make sure that when you've cut those edges and pieces off like his hat or his nose or whatever, just make sure that when you go to ink it, for example, it's the right way up because you might end up sticking it back to front, or inking it the wrong way around, if that makes sense. So I suppose worst case you can just turn it over and ink the other side. But anyway, moving on. So I've spritzed it with some water, and I've also spritzed it with my trusty Ranger Cosmic Shimmer bottle of pearly goodness, which I've now refilled, by the way. It was actually getting low because I'd used it so much in recent videos. Yeah, bit of a stuck record. So I'm now using the mini holidays and the stamp set. Now the Nouveau Mousse is dry enough. Oh, what's going on here? Sorry about that. The Nouveau Mousse is dry enough, but it's maybe not completely dry, so it'll take a little bit longer just to completely dry, but it's dry enough that I can stamp over the top of it. And I'm just taking these stamps. I'm not using an acrylic block because one, my pages are a little bit warped anyway because of the other stuff I've done on other pages, so that's gonna happen. So it's not completely flat, and two, it's actually easier off the stamp, off the block, sorry. So yeah, so much easier. And I'm just using a variety of any of the stamps in that set that I thought worked well for the whole snowy, snowman-y, snow person. I don't know what we're allowed to call things anymore. For that kind of page, I just used the ones that made more sense. There are some other images in there, like some there's some trees and some the other things, like the pine cones, that kind of stuff. For the lamppost, I did use the block. It just, as it turns out, that worked quite well because it's quite long and narrow. But for like the other ones, I obviously didn't use the blocks. And I don't know how this is going to piece together because my cat she basically fell asleep on my keyboard and it stopped my video while I was trying to do my voiceover. So hopefully this pieces together quite nicely. We hope. Otherwise I'll be doing this one again. So I'm just going to stick this down now with I can't even remember what that name of that glue is, but I've used it before in other videos. It's just a PVA glue type thing. It's a craft one, but oh, there you go, stick it. I knew what it was, but I couldn't think of it. And I'm just putting all the bits together. So getting his hat on, his nose, and then just randomly sticking the snowflakes on. See, 2 doesn't make sense. 3, Janine, 3, magic number and all that jazz. Anyway, and then the last thing, I believe this is the last thing I'm going to do, is to actually stamp one of the sentiments. There are a couple of sentiments in the stamp set, and I'm just going to stamp that straight on his belly. I thought that made sense. So, what snowman doesn't want a bit of a sentiment stamped to his butt? Anyway, so that's it. That's this week's videos for art journaling. It might be that it turns out this is a new thing that I start doing, is more art journal pages, or some mixed media kind of stuff. Let me know what you guys think. Sometimes I feel like I want to do these things, but I never think to film them. So if you like this, and I love watching your videos on this sort of thing, if you like what you see, obviously these are themed because that's where I'm at the moment. But if you'd like to see other stuff, then more art journals and mixed media stuff, then I'll for sure do it, because I really love doing this, and I think it's a good outlet for your emotion. So and we all need that sometimes. So I hope you like this, and I will see you in the next one, guys. Bye.